Alright, what's up everybody? We are live for the Kings and the BattleHawks. The Kings, I'm just pulling up the game right now. The Kings have started the game on a great note. They lead 7-0 with 10:51 to go. After a 53-yard touchdown run from James Robinson. But let me change all this up top. The Kings lead 7-0. That's their first touchdown against the BattleHawks all year. After they mustered just 3 points in their first meeting. A game St. Louis won 16-3. But the BattleHawks with the ball right here. An empty backfield for Luis Perez. Perez going to look to throw. And over the middle, that is caught by Sal Cannella. And Cannella picks up the first on third down and gets close to midfield. The winner of this game will face the Defenders in the United Bowl next week. After we just saw them upset the Storm. So here is Perez in shotgun with a back to his right. And Perez going to hand off. And there is a gain of about 3 for James. But welcome to the stream, everybody. Let me put out a poll. Give me just a second. So 2nd and 7, Perez to throw, and he finds Kyle and James out of the backfield. And he picks up about 3, maybe 4 on the play. Brings up 3rd and 3. So 3rd down and 3 from the Kings 43. Perez to throw, and Perez throws outside. There's Cannella again. He makes the catch. Another 3rd down conversion for him. Gain of 7, first down BattleHawks. Those two with a lot of chemistry together. Spent some time. Or a lot of time together with the Renegades, actually. So 1st down from the 37. Perez in shotgun back to his right. And we got a trick play here. We got an end around to flip to Jennings. And Jennings shoves his lineman to go block for him. And he gains 5. So Gary Jennings picks up 5. So 2nd and 5 from the 32. Perez in shotgun back to his right. And Perez, a slow play action fake. He throws to the outside. It's caught by Stephen McBride. And McBride gets down to the 20-yard line. It's been an 8-play, 48-yard drive so far. That has taken 4.5 minutes off the clock for the BattleHawks. So here is Perez in shotgun back to his right from the 19. And Perez, this time hands off, but again, Kyle and James, not much space to run. So it brings up second down and about 10. Kings lead 7-0. With 5:45 to go into the first quarter. So here is Perez in shotgun, back to his right. And Perez off play action, going to take a shot at the end zone, wanting to bribe, but he overthrew him. And it's 3rd and 9. So here is a 3rd and 9 for the BattleHawks. Play clock at 2. They'll get the play off. Perez looks to throw. And again, he's going to take a shot into the end zone. Caught by Butler, but he was out of bounds. Cam Dantzler, the former Minnesota Viking, matched up with Akeem Butler. That's going to be one to watch in this game. Butler able to make the catch, but Dantzler does a good job just forcing him to the sideline, not letting him get a foot down. He is very obviously out of bounds. So a 37-yard field goal. Ramiz Ahmed, 10 for 14 on the season. And Ahmed's kick is good. So the BattleHawks get on the board. It is 7-3. And the Kings up by 4. After the field goal. Let me pull up the stats for the game. Actually, I don't have to because they're right here. Never mind. But so far, we have seen the BattleHawks go 3 and out. The Kings had a 4-play touchdown drive. And in this drive for the BattleHawks, 12 plays, 49 yards. They took 6:40 off the clock and settled for a field goal. Well, we've got 4:21 remaining into the first half. Sorry, I did it again. First quarter. And the Kings will get the ball for their second possession. But we'll see what the the Kings can do on their second possession. James Robinson, a 53-yard touchdown run on the first drive. And we've seen all this talk about Chandler Rogers. I've talked a lot about Chandler Rogers as well and what he has done for this offense since he's become the starter. But a lot of it is also James Robinson. James Robinson was signed mid-season, and he has also really helped this run game. I mean, his numbers aren't usually anything eye-popping, but he has just been very good. He's run it 82 times for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's only 3.6 yards a carry, but he is still very good. And I think he's one of the better players in this league. I still believe he should be in the NFL. And I'll never forgive the Jaguars for drafting Travis Etienne the year after he ran for 1,000 yards as an undrafted rookie. But the Kings scoring points with Chandler Rogers at quarterback is just what they do. They've scored 30 in 5 of his 6 starts, scoring 32 points a game in his 6 starts. But the one game they didn't hit 30 was the game against the BattleHawks, where they scored 3. So here is Rogers to throw, and that pass is caught, and still on his feet, Tariq Black gets to inside BattleHawk territory to the 47-yard line, one play. And they're across midfield already. Rogers now 3 for 3, just a wide open receiver over the middle of the field. A simple throw and catch. So Rogers is going to hand off. Ian Wheeler gets to carry this time, his first of the day. And he gains a yard. So 2nd and 9 from the 45-yard line. So here is Rogers to throw, and he throws to Wheeler in the flat, and Wheeler is taking down, nice tackle in space. Brings up 3rd and about 7. So 3rd and 6. Rogers in shotgun, back to his left from the 42. Rogers has time, throws over the middle, receiver never saw the ball. And it's 4th down. Isaiah Winstead was his intended target. And it's now 4th and 6. And you cannot punt it here, being across midfield. But they're actually going to attempt a long 4.60-yard field goal. We saw the defenders make one of these earlier today. And Tanner Brown, he made 25 field goals, which is a UFL record in the regular season. And now a 4-pointer here in the playoffs. The kick is up. And it is on the way. It is good. He got it. Wow, a 4-point field goal for Tanner Brown. We saw the defenders make one earlier today. Now Tanner Brown hits one for the Kings. And the Kings go up 11-3 after a 4-point field goal. This one was good from a few yards beyond 60 as well. And it's now 11-3 with 1:52 to go in the first quarter. What a kick. So the 4-point field goal is good. I really did not realize Tanner Brown was that good throughout the course of the season. I did not realize he broke the UFL record for most field goals made in a season. He went 25 for 28 with 7 for 9, 50 plus. That's pretty good. The previous UFL record for field goals in a year was 22, which Lucas Havrasik hit last year with the Renegades. But he went 22 for 25. But Tanner Brown makes a 4-point field goal and makes his UFL record 26th field goal of the year, including the regular season. I just saw this. Anthony Becht has now been a number 1 seed 3 years in a row, and he has lost in the first round 3 years in a row. That's tough. And now we'll see. Now that the BattleHawks no longer have Anthony Becht, we'll see if they can get a playoff win, or if both will still stay winless in the playoffs. So the kickoff here going to be brought back by Gary Jennings from the 5-yard line. Jennings trying to turn the corner. He's able to get it across to 30, and he's knocked it out of bounds at the 33. So first down from the 33. Let's see what Perez and the BattleHawks offense can do on this drive. We'll hand it off. Jarvion Howard straight ahead, and Howard picks up 4. I think Howard was the player in the regular season who ran for the most yards without rushing for a touchdown. I know he was among leaders in rush yards earlier in the year, but I don't know if that's stayed throughout the entire regular season. I'm going to pull up the stats right now. So 2nd and 6, Perez to throw this time, but he'll still find Howard. And Howard able to break a tackle in the backfield, gets a block downfield, and he gets to the 49-yard line. First down, BattleHawks. Alright, this isn't going to load right now, so I'll just look it up next commercial. So we're inside a minute to go here in the first quarter. 45 seconds left. Likely the final play right here. First down from the 47. Perez, another swing pass here to Howard. This time not as much, as he gains 3. So it's 2nd and 5. Perez, that one knocked down at the line of scrimmage, as looking for Sal Cannella. And that was the final play of the first quarter. They just barely got that snap off before the quarter ended. But the Kings lead 11-3 at the end of the first quarter, trying to join the Defenders in the United Bowl next week. For either team, it'll be the 3rd time they play the Defenders this year. The BattleHawks and Defenders split the series. BattleHawks won in week 1 16-10. And then I believe it was 28-22 the second time they played. And then for the Kings, they beat the Defenders both times they played. They won 33-30 and 30-13. Let's see. I'm going to look it up while they're at commercial. It was 16-10 the first time, and the second time they met, yeah, the Defenders beat the BattleHawks 28-22. Also, while they're at commercial, I'm going to talk about the Jarvion Howard stat I talked about before. Howard ran for... Oh, wow, he actually led the league in rush yards with 456. I did not realize that. But yeah, he led the UFL with 456 rushing yards, but did not run for a single touchdown. Did not realize that. But we wait for them to come back from commercial as we go to the second quarter. The Kings lead the BattleHawks 11-3. So far, a good start for the Kings. They have outgained the BattleHawks 97-78. In that first quarter, they averaged 12 yards a play. BattleHawks 4.3. And if we do get the Kings and Defenders, it will be Jason Bean against the Kings in the UFL title game. But man, that's crazy. Imagine telling somebody that in like week 4. The Kings would be 1-3 at that point. Would be playing in the UFL championship game against Jason Bean. They would have called you insane. But here is a 3rd and 5. Perez dancing around, throws outside. That is a high throw, but caught. But Jennings is short of the marker. Or sorry, that was actually Darby. But it is 4th down and decision time for the BattleHawks. It is 4th and 3. Are they inside? Yeah, they are inside Kings territory, so the decision's kind of made for them. They have to go. And Perez, empty backfield. He'll throw here. And Perez gets pressure. He got rid of it, but that's caught by McBride. He's wide open. And McBride inside the 30, knocked down to the 27-yard line. Big catch and run for Stephen McBride, who's become one of Luis Perez's favorite targets. And a 1st down. The Kings got pressure, but Perez does a good job there. 9 for 13, 75 yards. Play action here up the seam. Oh, it's dropped by Butler. He's probably scoring if he catches that, and he drops it. Oh, man. That is a really bad drop there for Hakeem Butler. He is at like the 5-yard line. He might score. But if not, it's a nice chunk play. But that is a major missed opportunity for the BattleHawks offense. Perez to throw here on 2nd and 10. Here he throws outside, and that pass is going to be caught Gain of about 15. As the head in, James Bostic makes the catch. And now here's a 1st and 10 from the 11-yard line for the BattleHawks. They give it to Howard up the middle, and he gains 4. This is a BattleHawks offense that is not good in the red zone. Current drive, 9 plays, 60 yards, and let's see if they can put one in the end zone. 2nd and 6 from the 7. Perez gonna throw here. Throws way too high. But wow, every official had a flag through one. A ton of flags in the end zone. They're gonna call interference against the Kings. I am interested to see this replay, because it looks like that was way too high, unless I just made that up. No, that is... It was high, but if McBride actually has the opportunity to go jump for that ball, he can definitely make the play. So 1st and goal from the 1. Bring a receiver in motion. They hand it off. Howard is in! Touchdown! His 1st of the year! And Jarvion Howard with the rushing touchdown for the BattleHawks. And they've gotten off to a pretty good start offensively. 2 drives. 2 of the 3 drives, they score points. This time they find the end zone. And they are going to be down by 1 after the extra point. Which they are just going to kick the extra point here and not going to try to go for 2 and chase the points early, which I definitely agree with. And the extra point up and good. So it is 11-10 as the Kings lead the BattleHawks right now. That 4-point field goal, the extra point, the difference in this game. And the Kings will get the ball back, up by 1. But while we're at commercial, I'm also going to go get my dinner real quick. I've unfortunately got to eat on the stream because the game started like right on top of one another. But I'll be right back. Just give me a couple minutes. Alright, I'm back. I don't really think I missed too much. So 2nd and 10 here for the Kings. Rodgers against the blitz, throws, that is caught. Black makes the catch for a gain of about 5. Brings up 3rd and 4. So Rodgers in shotgun against another blitz. BattleHawks bring 6. Rodgers pressured, hit as he throws behind his receiver, and it's incomplete, but a flag is now down. And it's going to be against the Kings. We got a hold, and that will get declined. But the BattleHawks defense gets a stop. They force a punt. So for the first time today, the Kings will not score points on one of their drives as they punt it away, and this is a good kick. Fielded at the 18. And it's a pretty good return, too, about 10 yards. But it is now BattleHawk football with 10:01 to go in this first half, and we've got a flag on the play. I wouldn't be shocked if they called unnecessary roughness right here. That's exactly what they're going to do, actually. The refs are talking over. They're going to call unnecessary roughness against 19. Because he just went diving in the pile way too late. The play is clearly over. Oh, okay, that's what happened. So there was a BattleHawk that went diving into the pile way after the play. But it's because he got shoved by the punter. Man, how often do you see a punter that far downfield getting called for unnecessary roughness? That's a first. I mean, not actually a first, but just not something you see every day. Gonna try to eat during commercials, so don't mind me eating or not talking that much. Alright, but they're now back from commercial. BattleHawks get the ball back. And after the 3 and out on their first drive, they've moved the ball pretty well. Luis Perez, 10 for 15, 91 yards. Throwing the ball pretty well so far in this game. And the BattleHawks down by 1, 10 minutes to go in the first half. So an empty backfield for Perez. And he throws outside, setting with a screen for Hakeem Butler. But Butler is bottled up after a gain of 2. Good defense for the Kings. So 2nd and 8. Here's Perez in shotgun. And Perez going to look to throw. He gets hit as he throws, but goes way downfield. But he had an open receiver, but Darby didn't see the ball. Oh, man. Darby was wide open, but he didn't see the ball. And it's 3rd and 8. I mean, it's a great route to get behind the defender. And I mean, Perez even makes a decent throw, even though he's under pressure. But Darby just can't locate the football until it bounces. And he can't believe it. That's a tough one. So it's now 3rd and 8. And we got a flag here. We got a false start. We'll back him up 5. Cam Gill, number 46, won a 4 UFL MVP finals, set a UFL record with 10 sacks this year. Perez with time here. A long throw to the outside is called for a first down. A gain of 14 is Stephen McBride. And the BattleHawks move the sticks. Now Perez going to hand off. Here is Kylin James. He gets pretty much stuffed at the line of scrimmage. Luis Perez is 12 for 18 for 107 yards. He's throwing the ball well. Sal Canelo goes in motion. And here's Perez to throw. And Perez, oh man, that got tipped off the hands of Kylin James. And they're lucky that wasn't intercepted. So 3rd and 9. And they will have to go for it on 4th down if they don't get this, because they have crossed midfield. But prior to this, we got a timeout by St. Louis before this 3rd and 9. 6:48 to go into the first half. The first timeout either side is spent in this game. Yeah, I wonder if we can see the BattleHawks run the ball here on 3rd down, because they'll have to go for it on 4th down. Because they're not able to punt. And I guess they could technically attempt a long field goal, but I don't think they've got... I don't think Riz Ahmed is that kind of leg. So 3rd and 9 from the 46. Perez will throw. And Perez, oh man, just tries to check it down to James, but it goes off his hands. It's incomplete. And it's 4th down. So they just try to get a few yards right there and make it like a 4th and 5, but instead it's still 4th and 9 after that one was incomplete. So Perez in the pistol. Got to go for it from the 46-yard line. Perez to throw. He's got plenty of time. Perez now runs out of time, and Perez gets sacked. Back at the 45-yard line, it is Cam Gill. No, that's not Cam Gill. Never mind. But it's a sack for the Louisville defense. And the BattleHawks, they turn it over on downs. So the Kings will get the ball back. Really good starting field position inside BattleHawk territory. After the sack on 4th down. The Kings up by 1, an opportunity to potentially extend their lead. We got 6:06 to go in the first half. Kings by a point. 11-10. And we'll see what they can do here. After the defense gets a stop. So, I mean, both offenses had been scoring points, but then both defenses come up with a stop. The Kings punt and the BattleHawks turn it over on downs. Alright, but they're now back from commercial. First down for the Kings. At the 47. Rodgers in shotgun. Back to his left. And Chandler Rodgers looks to throw. Wow, did they just send everybody on the defense? Wow, they sent a lot on the blitz right there. And they take down Rodgers for a loss. They sent everybody. I think there's 8 guys blitzing right there. Rodgers stood no chance. So it's 2nd and 17. And Rodgers flips it here to Black on the reverse. And Black with a lot of space. And he gets all the way out to the 45-yard line. So gets all that lost yardage back. And it's 3rd down. Wouldn't be shocked if we see them come back to that and maybe have him throw it at some point. So 3rd and 8. BattleHawks show blitz. Here they come. Rodgers has time. Goes downfield. Oh, it's off the hands of his receiver, and it's incomplete. He threw it a little bit too far downfield, but should definitely be, or could definitely be caught. Zach Davidson was the target. Just can't quite haul it in. But they did a good job protecting Rodgers there. Made a good throw. A pretty good throw. And now it's 4th and 8. And the Kings have to go for it here. I mean, they don't have to, but they can't punt. Rodgers fumbles a snap, and he gets taken down for a sack. Travis Feeney stops him for a loss. And Rodgers, that play just never got off the ground. I mean, quite literally. The snap almost got rolled to him. And then he stands no chance. I mean, the snap doesn't actually get rolled to him, but it's a very low snap. And Rodgers can't collect it, and he just kind of just forced to eat the loss. And it's a turnover on downs. By the way, BattleHawks center, I don't really know how to say his name. Mike Panasuik? I don't really know how to say his name. But he's been all UFL for 3 years in a row and was all XFL in 2023. He hurt his calf in warm-ups and he's inactive today. So that is a major loss for the BattleHawks. Losing probably the best center in the league. But the BattleHawks get it back. Good starting field position at about midfield. And let's see what they can do here. 4:05 to go before halftime. Down by 1, 11-10. So 4:05 to go in the first half. BattleHawks start at the Kings 48. So here is Perez in shotgun, got it back to his left, and he will hand off. Here is Kevin Watulis, or name is actually Kavan. Well, Watulis gains just a yard, not much space to run there. Perez to throw on 2nd and 8. Underneath that is caught by Canella. And he'll gain 7. A yard short of the first down, even though he does signal first down. But that is 3rd and 1. So 3rd and short. Perez in the pistol. Howard is the back. Likely 4-down territory. Perez hands off. Howard didn't get there. Got stopped at the line of scrimmage. And it's 4th and 1. So it's 4th and 1. They will keep the offense out there and go for it as expected. Perez with the back to his right. They got him to jump. And they draw him off sides. And there's 5 yards and a 1st down. A good job by Perez with the hard count. Gets him to jump off sides. They don't have to run a play before the 2-minute warning. They will. And it's a handoff. Jarvion Howard going to gain 5. And he lost his helmet on the play. But it's a gain of 5, and that brings us to the 2-minute warning here in the first half. The Kings leading 11-10. But we wait for them to come back from commercial. At the 2-minute warning. But we got 2 minutes left in the first half. 11-10 Kings lead. BattleHawks with the football. We'll see what they can do here right before halftime. So here is a 2nd and 5 for St. Louis from the Kings 29. Perez. Howard in the flat. He's got a lot of space out for the catch. And Howard's out of bounds at the 12-yard line. Big catch and run for the BattleHawks. I'm not really sure who's supposed to follow him to the flat. I think it's one of the linebackers inside, and they just kind of stay there, and nobody goes out to cover him. So 1st down from the 12. Perez in shotgun back to his right. And Perez play action, rolling right. Throws underneath, that's caught. Jackson, diving, touchdown! Blake Jackson gives the BattleHawks their first lead of the day. And the BattleHawks, right before halftime, They grab the lead. And they take advantage of the short field. And they're about to go up 17-11 here before halftime. A nice throw from Perez. And here is the extra point. And it is good. So it's a 12-yard touchdown for Blake Jackson, and the BattleHawks now lead for the first time today, as they're up 17-11. And we'll see what the Kings can do right before halftime. So the Kings get the ball back. They have plenty of time to put a drive together. Minute 48 and all 3 timeouts. BattleHawks still with 2 timeouts. Although that one bounces into the end zone, so that's going to... I have the Kings starting at the 20-yard line, so not great. Ricky Proehl's excited about that. So let's see what the Kings can do here. They're backed up, but let's see what they can do. So Rodgers going to throw on the first play. Now, oh man, that one's dropped. That one's got to be caught. Tariq Black with the drop. And it's 2nd and 10. The first drive, they went 74 yards, 7 points. The last 3, they scored 4 points, 28 yards. The good news for the Kings, they do get the ball to start the second half, but obviously want to try to do something right here. So Rodgers to throw, and outside, just nowhere to go with that ball. Winstead covered very tightly. And it's 3rd and 10. Why are they showing us the St. Louis skyline? Not sure. So 3rd and 10. Rodgers sets up the screen on the outside. And they're going to have the first down. A nice catch and run. Good blocking. As Lucky Jackson gains 13 on the catch and run. So Rodgers to throw. Outside, there's Jackson again. He's got another 7 yards. And he stops the clock with a minute 27 as he gets out of bounds. So 2nd and 5. Here's another screen. This time Winstead makes the catch and a great tackle. Daniel Eisen with a shoestring tackle, saving a big gain. The Kings now on the ball quick. 3rd and 1. Rodgers might just sneak this. He will sneak. He's got the first. And Rodgers picks up about 4. 1:05 to go. Clock will temporarily stop because of the first down. The Kings still have 3 timeouts. BattleHawks have 2. Oh, actually, the Kings now use their first time out of the half right here, as they stop the clock with 1:05 to go. That leaves each team with 2 timeouts left in the first half. Rodgers to throw. That one is caught. Nice catch on the outside by Tariq Black. He got 5. Brings up 2nd and actually 4. So he got 6 on first down. Now Rodgers to throw again. Has time. Throws up the seam. It's caught. Inside the 30 to the 25-yard line. The tight end McKitty makes the catch. And that temporarily stops the clock with 41 seconds to go. A nice throw for Chandler Rodgers. A nice throw up the seam right there. Good job reading that play as well. Rodgers on the drive, 5 for 7, 52 yards. We got 41 seconds left in the half. The Kings just used their 2nd timeout, leaving them with obviously 1 remaining. BattleHawks still with 2. And now the BattleHawks going to call it one of theirs. But the Kings, with the football, 41 seconds to go in the half. Down by 6. So 1st and 10 from the 24. Rodgers sets up another screen. Oh, a double pass! They throw... Oh, it's intercepted! Wow, that went from so good to so bad. It's intercepted. Wow. They try to go with a double pass. And the receiver who catches it tries to throw to the middle of the field. It just is underthrown. He can't put enough on the ball to get it there in time. And the defender is able to get back there and pick it off. But he actually had somebody on the near side who was wide open. Tariq Black was wide open in the end zone. But Sims is able to range back, deflect the ball, and then intercept it off the deflection. And now there's a flag on the field. It's unnecessary roughness against the BattleHawks, but that's after the play. So the interception stands. Oh man, that went from so good to so bad for the Kings. So now the BattleHawks just take a knee here before halftime. And man, what a job by their defense right there to get the turnover right before halftime. Keep them off the board. And take a 6-point lead into the locker room. Miles Sims was the guy who picked it off. And the BattleHawks go to halftime up by 6, 17-11. The Kings do get the ball to start the second half, but what a crazy end to the first half. But I'm going to go take a quick break, use the bathroom, fill my water. I'll be back in a couple minutes. Alright, I'm back. So it's a 17-11 BattleHawks lead. And so far it's been a pretty good game for the BattleHawks. The offense looked good, the defense has looked good. And they're up by 6 at halftime. But as far as an updated score prediction goes, my original score prediction was Kings 24-20. I am still going to stick with the Kings. I just don't completely trust this BattleHawks team. I know they have looked pretty good, but I'm going to still stick with the Kings. I think they find a way to get this done and win another game. Plus, I just don't want to pick against the Kings right now. And I'll take the Kings, and we'll go. Let's see. We'll go 25-24 Kings. But I'm gonna try to finish eating while we're at halftime. I'm almost done. Yeah, I'm gonna try to finish eating while we're at halftime and I'll go over some stats. But as far as some stats from the first half go, the BattleHawks. Hold on 1 second. The BattleHawks played pretty well. They outgained the Kings 171-159. The Kings at 6.6 yards of play. BattleHawks 4.5. Chandler Rogers in that first half went 10 for 15, 99 yards, no touchdowns or interceptions. Hudson was the guy who threw the trick play and threw the pick. James Robinson ran it 3 times, 55 yards. Tariq Black 1 for 9. Chandler Rogers 1 for 4, and Ian Wheeler 1 for a yard. I'm kind of surprised that the Kings have gone so far away from the run after after their great start. I mean, they ran for like 50 yards in their first drive. I mean, I know it was one big play, but they've still run the ball 6 times compared to throwing it 16 when they've been good on the ground. And really, that's what their offense has done the second half of the year. Everything has opened up because of the run game. So, kind of surprised they have not run the ball that much. Then for the BattleHawks, Luis Perez 15 for 23, 144 yards and a touchdown. Good first half for him. Jarvion Howard 8 carries, 23 yards and a touchdown, his first of the year. But the BattleHawks' team not really running the ball too effectively. 14 carries, 34 yards. That's 2.4 per carry. But Steve McBride is having a nice game. 4 catches for 52 yards, and he's really started to come on ever since Luis Perez took over at quarterback. Perez took over against the Aviators. That was his first start. And since then, McBride, he caught a touchdown against the Aviators. And then since then, he went 8 for 116, 6 for 76, and 4 for 79. But he has really become a reliable target for Luis Perez. But we wait for them to come back from commercial. Second half should start within the next few minutes. BattleHawks lead by 6, 17 to 11. Alright, so the second half set to kick off in a couple minutes. So the BattleHawks kick it off, and we were going to bring it back from about the 2. And we were mixing. Oh man, he took a huge hit. But he pops right back up. And that is where the Kings will start this drive. So first down from the 32. Here's a handoff. James Robinson looking for space. He's going backwards, and he's eventually going to just lose a couple yards. Brings up 2nd and 12. Second and 12, Rodgers throws incomplete. Brings up 3rd and 12 in a very quick 3rd and long situation for the Kings. So 3rd and 12. BattleHawks bring 4. Rodgers rolling right. Rodgers on the run. And he will slide. Well short. His game's just 3 before he slides. I think Rodgers wanted a flag. But the BattleHawks defense can force a 3 and out, and not a great start to the second half for this Louisville offense. Punt can be brought back from about the 18 and brought back to the 27. So a nice return there for Fresh. But the BattleHawks get the ball back. Kings struggle to do much offensively. And let's see what the BattleHawks can do with their first drive of the second half after they come back from commercial. We still wait for them to come back from commercial. The BattleHawks can get the ball for their first possession here in the second half. Alright, so they're now back from commercial. the BattleHawks offense with the ball for their first possession of the second half. And their first play is going to be a handoff, and Watua is going to pick up about 3. Brings up 2nd and 7. Here is Perez in shotgun to the back to his right. And Perez is going to look to throw. Thrown outside, that is caught by Hakeem Butler. And Butler has a first down. And a nice catch and run there, about 16 yards. And a first down for the BattleHawks. So first down from the 45. Butler pretty quiet so far for his standards. 2 catches, 18 yards. So all it takes for him is 1 play. And those numbers are, look, 3 for 60 after another catch. Here's a handoff. Watuus. He gains 4. Brings up 2nd and 6. Although Watuus goes hobbling off the field. Hopefully he's okay. So 2nd and 6. Perez gonna look to throw. And that one knocked away. Trying to get it to Stephen McBride, but threw into a closing window. Mayfield with a nice defensive pass breakup. And it's 3rd and 6. Perez now 16 for 25, 160 yards, and a score. So 3rd and 6. And the BattleHawks going to call a timeout. BattleHawks can go with the same play they just had called before they called the timeout. 3rd and 6. Kings show blitz. They'll bring 4. Perez throws outside. Caught. Canelo, another first down catch for him. And a first down for the BattleHawks. And now we got a flag down. After the play, we got unsportsmanlike conduct against the BattleHawks. For spinning the ball? They called him for spinning the ball. Oh man, that is terrible. That is not a penalty. That is not a penalty. That's terrible. So, I mean, the first down does stand, but it does back him up 15 after that. So, first down from the 43 after the penalty. And they'll go to the ground. Jarvion Howard gets taken down at the line of scrimmage. So second down, they go back to the ground. Here is Jarvion Howard, and he'll pick up about 4. So it's now 3rd and 5. Perez. Quick throw. Oh, man, almost intercepted. He was trying to get it on a quick little hitch route on the outside. Cam Dantzler almost jumped that on a pass intended for Gary Jennings. But after the incompletion, the punt is away. And it gets fair call at about the 15. So now the BattleHawks were allowed to punt right there because technically, as Dean Blandino just explained, that doesn't make much sense, but Canelo crossed midfield when he made the catch, but because there was a penalty, technically he never crossed midfield is what he just explained. That doesn't make any sense, but I guess that's the rule. So that's why they were allowed to punt, despite technically having crossed midfield without having crossed midfield. That makes no sense. But we still wait for them to come back from commercial. A 6-point BattleHawk lead. The Kings get the football back. Their second possession here in this second half. So first down for the Kings. They hand it off. Ian Wheeler up the middle. He's got space. Wheeler a first down. Still on his feet. And Ian Wheeler all the way out across the 30-yard line. A big run to open up this drive for the Kings. Ian Wheeler just dragging BattleHawks along with him. Wonder if they enjoyed the ride. But a nice run there on first down. He breaks a tackle at the line of scrimmage, breaks another, and just runs through other guys. So first down from the 29. Wheeler again. And tough run, this time just for 3 yards. So 2nd and 7, they give it to Wheeler again. And he'll have another 2 to 3 yards. Brings up 3rd down. So 3rd and 4. Even though these runs haven't been amazing, I am glad to see the Kings get back to running the football, because that's really what their offense is centered around, and then that opens up the pass game for them, not the other way around. I mean, sometimes it is, but not the Kings. Rodgers, the throw on 3rd down, that's caught. Isaiah Winstead, nice move after the catch, still on his feet. Inside BattleHawk territory, gets a block downfield. Winstead, inside the 30, inside the 20, he's finally tripped up at the 13. What a catch and run for Isaiah Winstead, and a huge pickup on 3rd down. Man, what a play. It's just a simple, 4-yard sit route. A nice catch, and then a great job after the catch from Isaiah Winstead. 54 yards for the Kings. A big play there. They go back to the ground. Here is Wheeler. And he's going to gain 2, maybe 3. Maybe that big play can help spark the offense. Which so far has not been the greatest. So 2nd and 8. 5.5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. It's the first time they're in the red zone today. Rodgers looks to throw. Throws end zone. Caught. Touchdown. Isaiah Winstead makes a really nice catch. And the Kings have tied it up at 17 and are an extra point away from taking the lead. Winstead gets him down into the red zone. They reward him with the touchdown. And the Kings are about to go up by a point. Nice throw and catch. Isaiah Winstead with the touchdown. And here is Brown to add the extra point. And it is good. So it is now a 1-point Kings lead, as they have a great drive, go right down the field. And they take the lead, helped out with the big catch and run for Isaiah Winstead. But they're up by 1, 18-17. So I just saw this from the UFL rulebook. Remember how I was saying before, or how Dean Blandino was explaining? So the official thing in the rulebook says Team A may not attempt a punt from on or behind the line of scrimmage after the ball has already made. This makes what? Who wrote this? This makes no sense. It sounds terrible to read. But anyway, it says Team A may not attempt a punt from on or behind the line of scrimmage after the ball has been made ready for play inside the opponent's territory prior to the 2-minute warning of either half. So because it was never made ready for play, that's why the BattleHawks never crossed midfield on that last drive. Doesn't really make a ton of sense, but that's how it's written. The kickoff returned by James for getting about to the 30. Nothing impressive there. But let's see what the BattleHawks can do here on this drive. They're trailing 18-17. Let's see how they respond. So 1st and 10 from the 38 after a pretty solid return, but obviously nothing amazing. Perez hands off. Jarvion Howard trying to spin his way free, and he gains about 4, maybe 5. Howard up the middle. He's got a lot of space. You're inside King territory. The 44-yard line. Big run for Jarvion Howard. 1st down, BattleHawks. Nice run right there. Howard now 12 for 45 and a touchdown. Howard gets it again. Got a lot of space here. Spins inside. And Howard, a nice run. Almost got 20 yards in that one. Back-to-back really nice runs for Jarvion Howard. A nice spin move there. And back-to-back really good pickups on the ground. So 1st down from the 24. They go back to the ground. Here is Kylan James. And James going to gain about 2, maybe 3 with a flag on the play. They call a face mask against one of the BattleHawks offensive linemen. That is a big penalty, maximum of 15 yards. So it's now 1st and 25. Here's a swing pass to Watulis, and he's chopped down for a loss of a yard. Nice tackle in space by Cam Dantzler. And it's 2nd down. So 2nd and 26. I mean, that was a huge face mask penalty because that goes from like 1st down near the 20 to back up at the 40. So I mean, 1st down at the 25 to 1st and 25 at the 40. That's quite the difference. Perez pressured, swing pass Howard, and Howard gonna gain about 3. So 3rd and 23. Let's see how aggressive the BattleHawks here on 3rd and a mile. Although they will have to go for it on 4th down. Unless they're going to kick a long field goal. Because they cannot punt, being at the 37. Empty backfield for Perez. And he throws over the middle. That is caught. And a decent pickup right there. As Bostic makes the catch. But it is still 4th down and long. So they will send on a field goal team. And a nice job right there, just getting some yards, making this an easier field goal. And they'll send on Ramiz Ahmed to try to make this, or put the BattleHawks back in front. So here is Ahmed, a 45-yard field goal. He made from 37. This one from 45 is centered in the field. And would give the BattleHawks the lead. With a minute to go in the 3rd quarter. And Ahmed's kick is right down the middle. So it is now 20-18. The BattleHawks lead. So the BattleHawks back on top, they lead by 2 with a minute to go here in the 3rd quarter. And I'm going to go bring my stuff from dinner back upstairs now that I'm finally done eating. So I'll be back in a couple minutes, hopefully before they get back from commercial. Alright, so he almost made it back before the commercial was over. Only missed the start of the kickoff, and the return brought back to roughly the 30. Ball actually came out at the end, but it stays with the Kings. So first down from the 34. Rodgers and the Kings offense back on the field. Rodgers hands off James Robinson to the left side, bouncing off tacklers, but he's going to lose a yard, maybe two, as he ends up going backwards. Because while Robinson kept bouncing off tacklers, he kept bouncing backwards too. So 2nd and 12. Likely the final play here of the third quarter. Rodgers in shotgun. And he will hand it off. Robinson up the middle. And that's a little bit better. He gains about 5 right there. And it brings up 3rd and 7. So we go to the fourth quarter. BattleHawks lead 20-18. Head into the final quarter with a spot in the United Bowl against the Defenders on the line. But it's been a very close back and forth game so far. Could be in for a wild finish. Hopefully that is the case and we get a good ending. And then obviously the winner will go face DC in the United Bowl. We'll either get the best rivalry in spring football with the Defenders and BattleHawks, or we'll get the story of Chandler Rodgers and the Kings against, or Jason Bean against Chandler Rodgers, the guy who replaced him, and the Kings. But it should be a good, fun story either way. Just give me 1 second, just looking something up real quick. Just give me 1 second. But we still wait for them to come back from commercial. Alright, so we go to the fourth quarter, a 20-18 BattleHawk lead. Here in the second of 2 playoff games today. Here's Rodgers. Going to look to throw on third down. Rodgers steps up underneath. Oh, it's off the hands of Lucky Jackson. And incomplete. He was unlucky there. And it's fourth down. I mean, it's a little behind him, but that one's got to be caught. So it's fourth down and a punt here for the Kings. And the punt will be returned by Fresh from the 13. Makes the guy miss. Trying to get to the outside, and he's out of bounds at the 26. So a good return. But a flag is down, so it could come back. So during the return, we got an illegal block in the back against the BattleHawks, so take off the good return and back them up. So 14:20 to go, 2-point game. So first down from the 10-yard line. Perez pressured, goes deep downfield, and he's got a man, but he overthrew him. Stephen McBride was wide open, but Perez went him a little too far, and it's 2nd and 10. They're trying to take a shot. McBride has like 5 steps on the defender who bites on the fake. I mean, forget about steps. This guy's like 5 yards past him. But Perez just throws it too far, and a big missed opportunity for the BattleHawks. Now they go to the ground, and they gain nothing. And just like that, it's very quickly 3rd and 10. They went from having a potential huge play to start the drive to very quickly 3rd and 10. So 3rd and 10, empty backfield for Luis Perez. Perez is going to look to throw, and he's going to take a shot downfield again. This time they try the back shoulder, and he can't connect. And it's 4th down. Trying to get to the tight end, James Bostic, on a back shoulder throw up the seam. But it's incomplete, and a quick 3 and out for St. Louis. So the Kings defense, they do their job. They get a 3 and out. And now the punt is away. And it will be brought back by Lucky Jackson. And Jackson gets it inside BattleHawk territory to the 49. But a flag is down. And it feels like a lot of penalties in this game. So we've got a holding call against the Kings. 10 yards from the spot. And they're going to be backed up fairly deep. Or not deep, but compared to where they were going to be starting, it's definitely nowhere near as good field position-wise. But we still wait for them to come back from commercial break here. The Kings offense going to go back onto the field. This is the Kings offense that has not been the greatest, but they've been good enough. And now we'll see if they can put one in the end zone here. Rodgers got off to a tough start, but since then he's 7 for 9, 115 yards and a score, after starting 5 for 10 for 47 yards. So here's a handoff. Ian Wheeler up the middle. He's got a really good run. 11 yards. $11 yards for Wheeler to start the drive. Kings have run for 110 yards. They go back to the ground. Wheeler bouncing outside, turning the corner. Ian Wheeler down the sideline. Wheeler in a foot race. One, he will win. Touchdown, Kings. Ian Wheeler gives the Kings the lead once again. That is their second long touchdown of the game. And they're up 24, about to be 25-20. Robinson had a long touchdown. Wheeler's got a long touchdown. And the Kings back in front. A really nice run for Ian Wheeler. I think Ricky Proehl is going to challenge something here. Yeah, Ricky Proehl has thrown the challenge flag for likely a missed penalty on that touchdown run. So the BattleHawks, they're going to challenge and say there was a missed penalty and that there should have been a block in the back. So Tariq Black is the receiver who throws the block. Number 17. He's blocking Jordan Mosley, 23. And he hits him like the side. It's not in his back. I mean, technically, if you want to get like technical here, it's a blindside block because he doesn't see it coming. Although I think that's like the stupidest thing of all time. Hey, you can't. If the guy's looking this, you hit him in the chest. That's a blindside block. But after review, there is no block in the back. The touchdown stands. The BattleHawks lose their second time out of the half and their challenge. And the Kings are up by 4. And the extra point for Tanner Brown is good. So the Kings are up 25-20. After a long touchdown for Ian Wheeler. They have now run the ball 16 times for 160 yards and 2 touchdowns. They have touchdown runs of 51 and 53. Wheeler has 7 carries for 89 yards and a touchdown. Robinson 6 for 55 and a touchdown. But they have run the ball pretty well, and it's gotten much better as the game has gone on. I mean, they haven't always been super consistent, getting consistently 5, 6, 7 yards a carry, but they have run the ball pretty well as the game has gone on. Kings for the win. Let's go. We'll see. Up 5 right now. We'll see if they can hold on. We still wait for them to come back from commercial. We've got 11:46 to go in the 4th quarter. Kings up by 5, 25-20. That run by Wheeler was the Kings' 3rd play of at least 50 yards. They've had 2 touchdowns of at least 50, and they also had the catch and run from Isaiah Winstead that went for like 50-something. So the kickoff is away and will be returned by Jennings from the 6. Jennings crosses to 30, and he gets to the 35. Kings running games give DC a good game. Yeah, that's going to be a great game. Their second matchup was a great one, so hopefully, if they meet in the championship, it would be fun as well. Yeah, that'd be a fun matchup when 2 teams run the ball super effectively. So 1st down from the 35. Perez gonna hand off. Here is James, and he'll gain 5, getting to the 40. Got 11:15 to go. Perez going to hand off. Here's James again, trying to bounce outside. And he'll have the 1st down. He gains about 14. And a BattleHawk 1st down. That should be a nice sold-out stadium. It's going to look nice. Yeah, it should be. Especially with the hometown team playing in the championship game. I really thought it was going to be the 3rd year in a row where that the team who was hosting the championship game made the playoffs and then lost in the semifinal. But I'm glad to see a team finally gets to play at their home stadium in the title game. Perez to throw here. He's like pump fake 5 times at this point and finally gets sacked. So Perez goes down for the sack. He just never had anywhere to go with the ball. And it's now 2nd and long. So 2nd and 16. Perez in shotgun, gonna back to his right. And Perez gonna look to throw. And Perez throws outside. That is caught by McBride for a first down. He gains 17 and moves to 6. Another big catch for Stephen McBride. Nice catch right there. Along the sideline, keep the feet in bounds. McBride, 5 catches for 69 yards. Perez throws again. That's over the middle. That's caught by Cannell. He makes a nice move. And he gets to the 19-yard line before his forward progress gets stopped. It's been a good response drive for the BattleHawks. Perez is good, but I think he's past his prime. Yeah, I probably agree. I mean, he's still been pretty solid. I do think his best days are probably behind him, but I mean, still a good quarterback. Now we got a challenge from the Kings. They say there was holding on the previous play. Yeah, that looks like holding. Cam Gill is the guy who's getting held. The league leader in sacks. I mean, it looks like he's still able to get around him. But it seems like as he pulls on the inside of his shoulder pad, he really prevents him from putting a hit on Perez and affecting that throw. I think this is a hold. So they are going to put the holding call on. That'll take off a good pickup for the BattleHawks. And back them up 10. Just like we saw in the first semifinal game. The Storm had a long touchdown taken away because of a holding call like that. So the Kings successfully challenged that. It takes off the good pickup and backs them up 10. And this is the right call. This is holding. That is the 6th penalty against the BattleHawks. So 1st and 20 from the 45. Perez is going to look to throw. And Perez is going to set up the screen for Blake Jackson. And Jackson goes nowhere, taking down for a loss of 2. Nice tackle there for the Kings defense. And it is 2nd and 22. So Perez in shotgun back to his right. And we've got whistles on a false start here. Gonna back the BattleHawks up even further. So make it 2nd and 27. Man, they're really not helping themselves here. That is now 7 penalties against the BattleHawks. They're backed all the way up to their own 47. Perez, simple swing pass here to Jarvion Howard. He's taken down, nice tackle in space, stopping him for a gain of about 3. So it is now 3rd and 25. And I mean, they have to go for it. Or I shouldn't say that, but they have to. They cannot punt, because they've already crossed midfield on this drive. Even though they're at their own 49 right now, they have to punt it. Sorry, they cannot punt it. So Perez on 3rd and a mile. Throws downfield. It's knocked away. And incomplete. Canelo wants a flag, but he's not going to get one. And it will stay 4th and a mile. Man, what do you even call on this play? What do you call on a 4th and 25? I can't really imagine you've got many calls for that. The BattleHawks thought there should have been a penalty right there. But I don't. There's a slight grab, but I don't know. I think that's a good no call. But Cam Gill is injured on that previous play, so I was hopeful he's okay, because that would be a huge loss to the Kings defense, losing the UFL sack leader as well as the single season sacks record holder, which he set this year with 10. I'm going to check what the previous record was while they're at commercial. So he had 10, which is a lot. Obviously, that's 1 a game. Last year, the leader was at 7.5. And in 2024, the leader had 9.5. That was Bruin Speaks. What a great year that year. And then if we want to include the USFL and the XFL, the sack leader in the USFL in 2023 was also Bruin Speaks, who had 9. And in 2022, their sack leader had, what, 12.5? Jeez. Chris Odom, I forgot he had that insane year. So the modern spring football record is 12.5 sacks. Man, that is ridiculous. In 10 games? Wow, that's a lot of sacks. I forgot he had that crazy year. And then the XFL in 2023, their leader had 9.5. So 10 is the UFL record, but 12.5 is the modern spring football record. But the BattleHawks with a 4th and 25. This is the tough one for the BattleHawks. Perez to throw on 4th and a mile, and his pass gets knocked down at the line of scrimmage, and it's incomplete. I mean, they were just trying to check it down to Jarvion Howard, which to me makes no sense. Why would you not just chuck it deep? You've got a guy who's 6'5". He may even be 6'6". I don't know. But Butler is insanely tall. It's a matchup nightmare for DBs. Just give him a chance, and if it's incomplete, you're probably going to turn it over anyway. If it's an interception, great. I mean, it's an arm punt, and you get an extra 30 yards of field position. So a check down makes no sense on 4th and 25. Robinson gets the carry here on first down. He loses yards. And he stood no chance. That play got blown up before it got started. So 2nd and 14. Rodgers in shotgun, back to his right. Rodgers pressured. And he tried to set up the screen, but Robinson was on the ground. And he's got to throw it out and away, so it's 3rd and 14. So Robinson was the back in the area. Man, he just got run over by a linebacker as he was trying to get out on his route. So could technically get called a penalty. But it's now 3rd and 14. Rodgers over the middle. That's caught by Lucky Jackson. He's got the first down. And Jackson inside BattleHawk territory down to the 33-yard line. Although now there's a flag down. But this one's going to come back. There's an ineligible player downfield. So it wipes off a nice pickup on 3rd down and a 3rd down conversion. And it backs him up 5. Yeah. I think that's their right guard. Yeah, he's like 3 yards downfield. So it is now 3rd and 19 after a penalty. Travis Feeney, an injured player for the BattleHawks. That's a big loss. I mean, he looks to be okay as he slowly walks off the field, but that is a big loss. He is one of the most underrated players in spring football. So 3rd and 19, 5.5 minutes to go. And one of these teams will find their spot in the United Bowl against the Defenders. Rodgers going to look to throw on 3rd and long. Rodgers going to run for it. Rodgers, oh man, that is not the decision. He went inside BattleHawk territory. But that now means they can't punt it. So he's short of the marker, but they have to go for it because they can't punt. So now they've got to go. 4th and 6. And we've got a timeout called by the Kings before this play. I mean, they could try to attempt a long field goal. Tanner Brown made from 60 before with 4 points. He could maybe make a 62 or 63 yarder. Because that 60 yarder had the distance to be good from further. Brown is now out on the field. So let's see. Are they going to kick it? They are going to kick it. Tanner Brown's going to try to make his second 60-plus yard field goal of the game, worth 4 points. This one longer than his first. This one would be from 63. His first one was 60. This is a 63-yard field goal worth 4 points from the right hash. And Brown's kick is up, on the way, and it is good. He got another one. 4-point field goal for Tanner Brown puts the BattleHawks up by 9. His second 4-point field goal of the game, and it's 29-20. Man, what a kick. Is it too late to make this guy league MVP? What a kick. A 63-yard field goal for Tanner Brown. His second 4-point, 60-yard field goal of the game. And the Kings are now up by 9. The good news for the BattleHawks is it is still a one-score game. A touchdown and a 3-point conversion. It's still a one-score game. We'll go to the ground. Jarvion Howard going to gain about 3. Attendance for the game. Oh, man, that is not good. 18,111. Man, that is not very good. For a playoff game, that is a little disappointing. Actually, very disappointing. At least in my eyes. 2nd and 7. Perez pressured. Throws almost intercepted. And it's 3rd down. That is the lowest of the season for the BattleHawks, and it comes in a playoff game, so that is definitely not ideal. 3rd and 7, Perez throws. That is caught by Hakeem Butler, but he is a yard short of the 1st down. So they're going to go for a 4th and 1. I don't really think they've got much of a choice right here. 3 minutes to go. Down by 9. At their own 43. Perez going to hand it off. Howard has the first. Man, I did not like running the ball right there. But they got it. Did not love that call, but they do move the sticks on the ground. So here's Perez. Steps up. Throws outside. That's caught. McBride again. 15 yards and a 1st down. Perez is now 25 for 40 for 219 yards and a touchdown. They don't have to run a play before the 2-minute warning. They probably will. Nope, they're just... Oh, did they get that off in time? They're going to win a play out. Perez... Oh, man. Juggled and dropped by McBride. I didn't even know if they got that play off in time. But they did. And it ends up incomplete. So it's 2nd and 10. Kings by 9. At the 2-minute warning. of this second semifinal game today. The winner will face the Defenders in DC next week. In the United Bowl. But we still wait for them to come back from commercial. A 9-point game. Kings lead 29-20. BattleHawks do still have a chance to one-score game. Although we have not seen many 3-point conversions made at all this year. I'm pulling up the numbers right now. We have seen 2 3-point conversions made all year, although one of them was by the BattleHawks. Teams are 2 for 4 on 3-point attempts this season. By the way, they're going back to first down because they decided the BattleHawks did not get that play before the 2-minute warning off in time. So that makes sense. So it's back to 1st and 10. So Perez is going to look to throw. Perez, pressure, pocket collapsing, he goes down. Perez gets taken down. Clock is running. Cam Gill with his 11th sack of the year. So it's 2nd and 17. Perez steps in to throw. That pass is caught by Jackson. First down. He gains 18. Clock will temporarily stop with 1:31 on the clock. And now I've got another injured player. This time it's a defensive lineman down on the field for the Kings. And it looks like we might have another guy cramping. As he gets his right leg stretched out. So that forces the Kings to use their second timeout. So first down from the 29. And they got a free 5 yards. They were trying to get him to jump. They jumped. And there's a free 5. So make it 1st and 5. 1:31 to go. So Perez to throw here on first down. And Perez gets pressured and sacked. Perez goes down again. They just got 5 yards because of the penalty. They lose 5 yards here. And it's second down. Clock is running, minute 15 and counting. Perez to throw again. This time we'll check down. Howard inbounds, spins away from defender, has a first. Oh, what a job by Jarvion Howard to make sure he gets the first down, which will temporarily stop the clock. Very good play right there. Each team still with 1 timeout left. 59 seconds left on the clock, which now resumes running. And again, they're going to get a free play. Or they blow it dead, but again, they get him to jump off sides. That's the 3rd time, I think, in this game the Kings have jumped. This time it's Cam Gill. So 1st and 5 from the 10. Perez looks to throw. Rolling right. Perez pressured. Gets a throw off. And it bounces it to McBride. But good job just to get a throw off there. With Cam Gill closing in on him. Who else? And that guy is a sack machine. So 41 seconds. 9-point game. Second and 5 from the 10. Perez in shotgun. Will look to throw here. Perez has time. Bat at the line and incomplete. Brings up 3rd and 5. So let's see what the BattleHawks have here. 3rd and 5. From the 10. It's a draw. Howard breaks tackle. The flag is down. Howard's got the first down to the 3-yard line if it stands. But this one's going to come back. It's a holding penalty against the BattleHawks. So that is another big penalty against the BattleHawks offense. It's now 3rd and 15 from the 20. Makes things a lot harder. Perez throws up the seam. End zone. Intercepted. Picked off. And the Kings are going to hold on for the win. And they'll go to the United Bowl to play the Defenders. Steel Chambers with the interception. Perez just tries to force this in there. And the Kings and Defenders meet for the 3rd time in the United Bowl next week. He's trying to get it to Hakeem Butler, who's had a very quiet game, and there's just no space to fit that in. Yep, he's got his hand under the ball, doesn't hit the ground. That is a good interception. And the Louisville Kings are headed to the United Bowl. So it will be Jason Bean and the Defenders against the Kings playing for the UFL Championship. Also, I just did it again. I never switched this to the fourth quarter. I didn't do it the first time I streamed today either. But it will be the new franchise, the Louisville Kings, against the defending champs, the DC Defenders. The Kings have now won 5 in a row, and 7 of their last 8. So it'll be the Defenders and the Kings next Saturday in DC for the UFL Championship. So how about that? Both those teams go on the road today and knock off the higher seeded team. Anthony Beck still can't win a playoff game as he was with the Storm, and the BattleHawks still can't win a playoff game as they lose to the Kings. And it's the Defenders and Kings in the UFL Championship game. It'll be the third time they'll play this year. The Kings have won the first 2. They won in DC 30-13. That was the game Jordan Teamu. No, that was not the game Teamu got hurt in. That was even with Jordan Teamu. They won 30-13. And then the second matchup was the one Teamu got hurt in. Yet somehow that game was closer, and the Kings won 33-30. But that should be a fun game next week. Defenders and Kings for the UFL Championship. But that should be quite the game next week for the UFL Championship. I feel like I was just going to say something, but now I don't remember what it was. Man, imagine telling somebody after like week 4 or whatever, week 3, say, when the Kings are 0-3. Imagine telling someone after week 3 that the Louisville Kings would be playing for the UFL Championship. They would have called you insane. They started the year 0-3. They've won 7 of their last 8. They've just avenged their only loss during that span against the BattleHawks. And the Kings are going to the UFL title game. And the offense doesn't quite hit 30 this week, but they come as close as they can get. They go 29. And they'll match up against the Defenders next week. But that should be a very fun game. But final score, Kings 29, BattleHawks 20. That is where I'm going to end today's stream, everybody. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like the stream, subscribe, turn notifications. I do my best to post as often as possible. Got a lot of content on the way. Be posting some World Cup stuff this week before the World Cup starts. Obviously UFL stuff, but a lot of content on the way. So be sure to subscribe, turn notifications so you guys don't miss anything. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day or night, and I'll see you guys next video.